yn gyntaf, mae rhaid I fi'n siarad tipyn o Gymraeg achos dwi'n dysgu Cymraeg yn y cynulliad nawr. Dwi'n dysgu Cymraeg achos dwi'n Gymro a dwi'n eisiau siarad Cymraeg I fy ferch a fy wyrus pwy sy'n byw yn Dyfnain. So, helo Nonna a Roslyn. For the speech proper, I'm sorry, my Welsh is not that good yet. Well, indeed, the change that Wales needs, I suppose, a change is as good as a rest. Well, at my age, I often need a rest, but I'll return to that theme later. It's a great privilege to be back in the town of Llanelli. So many of my heroes are from here. Phil Bennett, Delmy Thomas, the Quennells, Jonathan Davis, and Grav, and Carwyn. James, that is. Politically, of course, Jim Griffiths, Helen Mary Jones, and Carwyn. James, that is. I'm not too sure because I'm one of the old brigade. I'm keen on spring conferences. I'm old enough to remember them in the 1960s and 70s when we called them rallies. Then we didn't just meet in halls talking to God's chosen few. We did that, of course, but more importantly, we marched proudly through the streets. I remember marching through my own town of Caerphilly, through Ebbw Vale, if you remember, those of you who were there. We walked up to the Aneurin Bevan stones to signify the poverty that was in Wales at that time and is still in Wales, and we ate bread and drank water. Whoever thought of that, I thought was a genius. We walked through the streets of Carmarthen with Gwynfo. We had open-air meetings that the public actually attended as well, so that was really super. I've served this party for close on 50 years, man and boy. I've been an elected councillor for 40 years. I'm trying to catch Michael Williams of Tenby's record. I think he's perhaps one of our longest serving members and a stalwart in that town. Yes, I do have yearnings for the old ways of campaigning, door knocking, street meetings, standing on soapboxes, and we're getting back to that, I think. And I'm quite enjoying the new social media way too. We've certainly you can target thousands of people from the comfort of your own home. We did a video in Caerphilly the other day, 3 videos, and they've hit 25,000 views. That's pretty good enough for me. But I urge you all to be wary of computer warriors who can talk the talk, all right? But it's very important you walk the walk as well. Otherwise, I fear you'll lose the track of ordinary people. 40 years ago in Caerphilly, we used to dream of winning a seat on the Caerphilly Urban District Council, and the County Council, of course, was way out of the question. But then we had some heady by-elections. I won't bore you with all the stories from 1968, but I will tell you one. I recall sitting in a hall, the Caerphilly Girls' Grammar School, and a telegram was read by the chairman of that meeting, Gwyn Phillips, who was a senior figure in the National Union of Mine Workers. And it was a telegram sending good wishes to our friend Dr. Phil Williams, and it was signed by all 13 Welsh Rugby Union players on the British Lions tour, who were urging Phil to make Caerphilly for something more famous than cheese. Was that the influence of Carwyn? James, that is, of course. Well, as far as talent is concerned, we need to remind the people of Wales we're a pretty extremely talented nation. Just think of all the world-class sportswomen and sportsmen. Think of the world-famous actors, world-famous singers, world-famous bands. We need to boost the confidence of Welsh people and others who live here in Wales to say that we have the talent to take charge of our own nation. Plaid Cymru is the only party that does not have to look to Westminster to make decisions for us. We are not like the Tory and Labour parties in Wales. We make the decisions, not London. But to lead Wales to become a world-class nation, we need to be in power, because this lacklustre Labour government has blocked policies that we have put forward. from my own portfolio and things that I have a passion for. They've refused to ban the smacking of children. They've refused to appoint a disability commissioner. They have refused to consider merging health and social care into a truly integrated single organisation. They are failing young people who have mental health problems. They are failing people diagnosed with cancer. What a pathetic legacy they will leave when they are defeated in May. I would need to be a poet. I would need to be a poet to tell you how proud I am to represent Plaid Cymru in the Senedd. For the last 5 years, I've sat along my colleague Elin Jones in the Health and Social Services Committee. My left leg is very sore where she often kicks me if I say the wrong thing. But I'm very proud that with Elin's help to have made successful amendments to bills to ensure that children in foster care, they now remain in care if they choose to, not until 16, but up to the age of 25. And that's the change we need, not less. I'm very proud that independent advocacy has to be provided free to pensioners in receipt of care. And that's the change we need, not rest. Critically, all elderly people who are in receipt of social care used to have visits that lasted 15 minutes. Thanks to our amendment, that has now been extended to 30 minutes. And that is the change we need, not rest. We've got about 60 days to provide Wales with this change, so there's no rest for us now. In Caerphilly, see some of our gallant band there, we have been knocking doors week in, week out since the last UK general election. We're top of the party's list for the number of entries on the treeware system. Tens of thousands of leaflets have been delivered protesting at the proposed local development plan. That will mean thousands of houses are being built on our precious green fields. Brownfield sites, surprisingly, are the last to be touched by Labour's plans. Well, we say they should be the first. We shall send a message to greedy developers, greedy landowners and greedy house builders that our green fields are not for building. These homes will not cater for local people, but will merely act as overspill for Cardiff, Bristol and other British cities. It's not my job as a Welsh politician to cater for housing demands in British cities. It's my job to fight for my area. At the moment, it can sometimes take between 60 and 90 minutes to travel the 12 miles from my house into Cardiff at peak times. If I were fit, I could run faster than that. If Cardiff Council allows the 40,000 extra houses they're planning, then how long will it take then? And good luck to Neil McAvoy and all his efforts fighting Cardiff. We recently witnessed the traffic chaos when a single Coca-Cola lorry visited the city before Christmas. The city and the region became gridlocked. And the future will mean more of the same, except we won't have the Coca-Cola lorry. I'm sure other lorries are available. Look, where's the regional planning in all of this? There's none, and there should be. As is the case throughout the rest of Wales, councils are being urged to build homes to cater for people from outside. In Caerphilly, if these new housing developments go ahead, our roads, our schools, our doctors' surgeries will not be able to cope with the additional burdens. And what do Labour do? Well, at the moment, they're busy trying to resolve the fiasco of senior council officers' pay rises, which has cost taxpayers millions of pounds, money that could have been spent on front-line services. But no, in Caerphilly, we're paying 3 people to stay at home and paying lawyers for a lot of hard work, I'm sure. We also have the obscene prospect of schools being charged because Labour wants to introduce a tax on every single primary school where pupils bring in sandwiches. It's unfair on school governors, who are all voluntary, mark you, to place this burden on them. That sandwich tax must never be passed to parents. So it's no to building on green fields, no to the sandwich tax, and no to further money being wasted on senior council officers' pay. Let's turn to football. I shouldn't really be in this hotbed of Welsh rugby, but for a moment, our football team, well, we've got a top premier league of politicians in Plaid Cymru. In Leanne Wood, we have a future for our country. This woman who inspires us all has worked relentlessly and unflinchingly in her bid to ensure that our country, Wales, is set to embark on one of the most exciting periods of history, when once again we start to do things for ourselves. A captain or a leader, of course, needs a great team behind them, and we've got our shadow cabinet. Shoulder to shoulder with her is that dedicated cabinet, one of the best teams I've seen in all my life. I can honestly say it's most able and talented, and it's my privilege to work with them. In health, Ellen Jones has led the way, challenging Labour and demanding action on its dire health record. Health will be the toughest challenge, and Ellen has the determination to face that challenge. She's got a fantastic bedside manner as well, haven't you, Ellen? Simon Thomas is committing to driving up education standards. The window of opportunity for our children is only open once, and Simon will ensure that those windows remain open and rid teachers of their red tape that they face now. Freeing up Araith has a vision to boost the economy and jobs. He will put in a plan to create a country which excels in manufacturing, energy, financial services, creative industries, and all sustainable. And then there's Sleer Griffiths. He stands up for rural Wales and has recently, of course, won a well-deserved award for his work in Renewable UK Wales Green Energy Awards. And let's not forget the contribution of our hard-working backbench assembly members. They also do a brilliant job on behalf of constituents. We've just heard from my colleague, who I also sit next to on my right-hand side. She doesn't kick me as much, but Bethan Jenkins has been at the forefront of the campaign to save steel jobs in Port Talbot's Tata plant. She's recognised for all of her hard work by the Vistian workers, who pay nothing but tribute for her efforts. I'd also like to pay tribute to the work of the three Assembly members who are standing down. My colleague Jocelyn Davis from the South East, Roderick Glyn Thomas and Alan Fred Jones. They've served Plaid Cymru and Wales so well over so many years, and we'll miss their contribution. Modesty prevents me from naming any more Assembly members. I've tried to name them all, but I shouldn't forget to mention the work of David Ellis Thomas, but I will. No, sorry. Seriously, again, a man who is well respected for his work for the people of Dwyfor, Meirionydd and all parties. Receiving awards in London for his work that he continues to do there. Well done, David. And also, don't forget, we have backbench members ready and waiting to work their knuckles to the bone for this party and this country. Standing in the election, but not yet in the Assembly, are some pretty class acts. People like Adam Price, Stephen Lewis, Tristan Lewis, and the return, of course, of the Rottweiler that is Helen Mary Jones. Wales, I believe, is on course to steer our country and its people, to have self-confidence, self-belief and self-pride. This will be the change that Wales has been crying out for. We will be the change that Britain needs, dare I say the change that Europe needs, and the change that Wales needs. And finally, let's explode the myth that no one likes change. The status quo is no longer an option for you, Wales. It's a new world now. I can reminisce to my heart's content, but I'll tell you this heart will burst with pride when Plaid Cymru wins in May, and we can say to Wales and the world, we are the change that you need. Diolch yn fawr.